Shalom unto the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. First and foremost, before I get into my lesson, I want to start off by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, Great Millstone that teach and that rule well today. And salutation also to the fellow laborers that's in the ministry and the believers that scatter worldwide in all truth and sincerity, day in and day out. Once again, I'm the brother Shaquat Gabar, coming at you with another quick lesson. And right before I get into this lesson, this message or these videos goes out to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which we are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites according to the Bible, and also to the Israelite foreigners that are scattered amongst the heathen nations, and that may take on a physical appearance or look of another nation. But if your bloodline goes back to Negro, Latino, or Native American descent by the seed of your father, you are considered an Israelite as well. Shalom. So basically, I'm just going to get into a quick lesson. As you can see, I had this video queued up on the screen, okay, which is off one of the beloved brothers amongst the ministry. Okay, as you can see his channel, Arrows of Nation 144. Okay, he gave the title of the video that he put up, Citizens of Babylon, the fun and games is over. SHTF, meaning shit hit the fan. Okay, because we coming in the time of the downfall of Babylon. Okay, which is known today in the scriptures. Okay, when it comes to prophecies, okay, in the spiritual aspect, okay, is America. Okay, America is known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures. Okay, and and other different ancient empires, okay, that eventually had failed. Okay, because America had taken on the same customs as these ancient empires, such as Babylon the Great, or Babylon, I say Babylon, ancient Egypt, Assyria, okay, Sodom and Gomorrah, okay, and this is ancient Greek, okay, Rome, all over again, okay, and at this time, when it comes to the biblical Edomites, the so-called white race that's ruling, okay, the chiefly that's in power today, okay, mainly when it comes to these elites, Esau, Edom, okay, these central bankers, on down to the average American white Edomite, okay, that have the privilege, okay, over here in America, that's ruling over us, okay, when it comes to the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay, we are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites once again, okay, but at this time we in captivity up under Esau, Edom, okay, and these heathen nations, okay, that's in league with them doing their bidding, okay, or over here oppressing us as well, okay, when it comes to these heathen nations, okay, but like I say, this is the time of eventually, as I'm gonna get into play this video, the time of this place, America, downfall, okay, and we starting to see that now on all levels, man, okay, the morals of the people, okay, people dealing with the coming of the financial woes, okay, eventually a financial crash, an economy crash, okay, the coming of more poverty, okay, homeless, unemployment, job losses, okay, certain aid being cut by the government, okay, when it comes to federal aid, like EBT, food stamps, okay, social security, what else, disability, okay, all that about to be cut, retirement, okay, VA money being cut, to round it all up, this place on the verge of its crash, man, okay, and we're approaching the time of, which is already orchestrated, okay, when it comes to these elites, as we now, they want to bring the squeeze, and eventually, bring the crash to this place, America, as they want to introduce the NWO. Okay, and when it comes to really them want to replace the dollar with the implementation of the RFID microchip, which is known as the mark of the beast in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. Okay, which is biblical prophecy, man. Okay, when it comes to these elites' agenda of capping off the NWO, man. Okay, and due to that, they want to bring order out of chaos, man. As I made mention, a lot of benefits in America being cut, job losses, okay, poverty, home losses, okay. It be coming in a time of these stores, okay, food shortages, okay, a lot of empty stores, grocery stores, retail stores, you know, the marketplace, or restaurants, okay. You know, so we at the point of this place destruction, man. Because ultimately, you know, after I said all that, leading up to this lesson, ultimately this place, America, gonna be destroyed by the way of thermonuclear fire at the peak of the Third World War. Okay, and during that time, who the world called Christ, Yahweh Shai, okay, his true name in the Hebrew, meaning he is the deliverer, is gonna make his second coming, okay, and deliver the elect of the nation of Israel, which were considered the 144,000 and the 1/3 that's destined to be saved. Okay, because 2/3 of so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, they're going to be judged here in America. Okay, according to Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. Okay, due to their non-belief. Okay, due to them being in the steady, trusting in this place. Okay, trusting in this system, trusting in these false gods, idol worship, when it comes to these different sets of religions, okay, and them not repenting, not acknowledging Yahweh Shai Shai and the prophets that's out there on the highways and byways that's giving them the forewarning, okay, and this word being published on the internet, okay, and so now we coming to the time of all hell about to break loose, okay, which also going to lead into the time of Jacob's trouble, okay, Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, okay, which is mainly for you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans. But the Lord said only the elect is going to be delivered out of that. Okay, ultimately when Yahweh shall return by the way of the chariots, what the world call UFOs, and to redeem the elect from out of the destruction from the thermonuclear fire, okay, or missiles. Okay, that's going to decimate this place, man. Okay. Yeah, but prior to that, like I say, we about to witness the time of martial law. Okay, a famine, food shortages, pestilence, okay, civil unrest, okay, and we come into that time now, that appointed time. So let me go ahead and play this video, and I'm gonna get some scriptures, and that'll be the lesson. And I pray that the lesson is edifying.
Is over. Now this is a really hard video for me. America, the fun and games is over. Now this is a really hard video for me to make. We've gone beyond now Trump this, MAGA that, Republican this, Biden that, left, right, Republican, Democrat, whatever. Shit's about to get real. You've seen my videos. I've been posting for a couple of months now. I, on the one hand, don't really want to be scaremongering. Sometimes people come on and they say, yes, we know, and then, of course, a lot of you come on and say, thank you so much for pointing these things out. If you live in America, I think you need to be worried. This is not a parody account. This is not, I'm trying to be serious here without being alarming. But we are now towards the end of April 2025. But the fact is, the big orange buffoon with the small hands, the tiny hands, your great leader, I don't think you understand what he has done to the economy, what is about to happen to the United States. With these tariffs, with China no longer sending a single ship to US ports, The last one, I believe, is due to be in the East Coast on the 11th of May, but after that, there will not be a single ship coming from China to the US with a single shoe, bag of wheat, iPhone, whatever it is you buy from China, clothing, and above all the components that companies in the US rely on. I'm hearing that dock workers are being laid off because there's no ships to unload and load. I'm hearing that truckers are being laid off because, well, there's nothing in the ports, so there's nothing to truck. I'm hearing that places like Las Vegas, which live off tourism, are now on the quiet, getting rid of staff, saying you'll let go because, frankly, there's no more tourists welcome to the US. But the most worrying videos I've seen, and I'm saying this simply as an awareness thing, that better that you hear it now and have the time to weigh up your options rather than hear it later and go, why didn't anyone tell me? Again, I'm not trying to be fear-mongering, but it's certainly better to have heard something and have time to evaluate and make your own decision rather than for something to come as a complete surprise. Basically, the talk is of shelves emptying, and that is some serious shit. We are talking potentially the US economy grinding to an absolute halt like has not been seen in at least 2 centuries by July 4th. We're talking people losing their jobs, people losing their homes, people not having food, and God knows what else. Now again, I'm trying to stay calm and not be alarmist in this video, but the things I've seen in the last few days, frankly, are alarming. At least I am concerned for the people in the US right now who perhaps are not aware of the potential for what is going to happen in May, June and July of 2025. All I can say is do what you can, protect yourself the best way you can, and perhaps maybe, just maybe, even if it's crazy, buy a little extra food, a little extra toilet paper, a little extra what you need. Because I remember during COVID here in Europe, the food gone from the shelves. You couldn't buy solar panels. You couldn't buy battery storage. You couldn't buy wind-up radios. It was difficult to get cash out of the machine. And thankfully, they weren't needed. And yes, some of us were a little bit crazy. But I believe there's an old saying, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Please stay safe. Thank you for following.
Okay, so you hear, this individual, okay, which he's over there in Europe, okay, giving an alarm of, what's to come here in the near future here in America, okay, when it comes to his financial situations and, like I say, things being cut, okay, more and more leading to, like I say, going to lead to more unemployment, going to lead to more poverty, homeless, okay, certain aid, federal government aid being cut, okay, due to, like he said, the tariffs that Trump opposed, within, last month, okay, ever since he came back in office, okay, at the beginning of the year, okay, because this place, America, is known for import country, okay, having goods and, merchandise coming from other countries, mainly on China, Taiwan, Canada, Mexico, okay, Europe, okay, and Trump, which he's doing the bidding of these elites. Cause like I say, it's orchestrated. Okay, they want to bring a financial crash so they can implement a digital system, mainly, like I say, surrounding that RFID micro. Okay, Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. That's going to, replace the physical dollar. Okay, that's why you're hearing now the talks of CBDCs, universal basic income. Okay, Fed now, digital wallet. Okay, because these elites have an agenda. Okay, to as they want to forward the NWO. Okay, and come with a technocracy. Everything moving towards AI now. Okay, everything electronic. Okay, and all that's going to center around the MOTB. Okay, transhumanism, biometric. Okay, and so we coming in these times. But in the midst of these elites trying to think that they're going to forge an NWO by bringing order out of chaos, okay, hey, Yahweh Shemel Shah is the one that really intervening. Okay, because really Yahweh Shemel Shah set these elites up on the left-hand side when it comes to the wicked. Okay, but now we coming to their downfall. Because eventually Yahweh Shemel Shah is going to going to take them out of power through the midst of all this chaos, and at the same time bring the destruction to these heathens, starting with Esau, Edom, mainly this place. Okay, and 2/3 of our people, and only gonna deliver the elect. Okay, have the covering of the elect of the nation Israel. Okay, mainly us that's in the states here in America. Okay, us are the hopeful elect. Okay, the Lord gonna be with his elect during those times, man. Okay, so he made these points and everything. So let me go ahead and get into the scriptures. And I wanted to start it off with Isaiah chapter 55. But this through the spirit while I was watching that video, and sharing it. Okay, I want to start off with this. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 7. Okay, going into this place, destruction, and eventually ain't gonna be no healing of this place, America. It don't have this run. Okay, this is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 7. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. Okay, that's going into the today. Okay, spiritual Babylon. Okay, Babylon the Great is America today. It said Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunk. Yeah, mainly by the way of its democracy, policies, the dollar, the when it comes to the philosophies, as it says, the nations had drunken up on wine, therefore the nations are mad. Yeah, because one part of the time these nations had took on the desire of America. Okay, America always been known the #1 country. Okay, on top. Okay, nations, from other countries coming over here to find America's success. Okay, and and the influence of America, like I say, by the way of mainly by the dollar. Okay, the trades that made America great. Okay, and the lifestyles. Okay, which ain't no lifestyles really over here. Okay, because over here in America they push do as thou will. Okay, freedom and all that. You can do whatever you want. Okay, serve any religion you want. Do all type of wickedness over here in America what they allow. Okay, and the nations one point in time took upon that mind frame. Okay, like I say, through the media, the influence through the news, the media, entertainment, the music. Okay, sports. Okay, politics. Democracy. Okay, that to the point these other nations started they form their ways in the way of America. Okay, construct their ways in the form of America. Okay, but now here in 2025, hey, these nations are tired of America. Okay, especially now that Trump, now like I say, how he moving full throttle, or in the form of being a dictator here in America and on these other countries when it comes to these tabs, man. Okay, but now we in the time now these nations starting to drop the dollar. Okay, such as Russia, China. Okay, Brazil, Iran, India. Okay, South Africa. Okay, and other countries. Okay, that's starting to ditch the dollar. Okay, and now to the point that we come into the time of war. Okay, because eventually trade wars or politics wars or trade wars going to lead to physical war. And we coming in the time of the Third World War. Okay, but right before that, during the process of that, I say, hey, this place about to witness a great crash, man, here in the States. Okay, and it says the nations had drinking of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Okay, how for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed, and this place ain't gonna be healed. Okay, cause a balm represent a healing ointment. Okay, and a dollar already, to the point that it ain't coming to obsolete, more and more devaluing, and that's why you're seeing this place about to witness inflation or witnessing inflation and soon hyperinflation. Like I say, especially when these other countries are dropping the dollar, leading off from the dollar. Okay, and like I said, this place is known for an import country. Okay, known for being successful off of other countries when it comes to their goods. Okay, like I said, mainly on China. Okay, and it says if so be she may be healed, we will have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reach unto the heaven. For her judgment reach unto heaven and is lifted up to the skies. Yeah, so this is the time of America judgment. Okay, and that's why you're seeing certain, nations fleeing this country. Okay, especially when it comes to these heathen nations that one part of time that came over here, like I say, to seek an opportunity and generation wealth. Okay, down there, they fleeing this place and going back to their own country. Okay, you got certain Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, Israelites. Okay, I say, fleeing the country. Okay, hey, but hey, cause they've seen this place downfall, man. Okay, and that's the will of Yahweh Shemel Shah, cause the judgment had reached into the heaven. Okay, cause this place is known as what? Once again, our captivity. Okay, when it comes to the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans. Okay, how downtrodden. Okay, throughout years, how Esau Edom oppressed us. Okay, it a blaspheming of Esau Edom, setting up, like I say, all these false gods and different sets of religions over here in America. Okay, the lies. Okay, that America have been pushing. Okay, and the wickedness that America have allowed and America doing. Okay, when it comes to their policies. Okay, so that's it on that. Let me get on the original scripture I want to start off with. This is Isaiah chapter 55, verse 6. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. And it's going to mainly you so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans. Okay, you Israelites. Okay, and those that descended out of that bloodline by the seed of your father, man. Okay, because this is the time now to seek Yahweh Shemel Shai while he have his prophets out there on the highways and byways and his word available on the internet. Because soon the Lord going to bring the famine of the word according to Amos chapter 8 and 11. Okay, and so this is the time now to seek the Lord while he may be found. Okay, before all hell break loose, man. Okay, before SHTF. Okay, so this is the time now. But like I say, man, majority of our people they ain't gonna take heed, which is all the will of the Lord. Because eventually the elect is gonna take heed. Okay. Amos 8 and 11. Behold, the days come, said the Lord, power, Yahweh Shemel Shai, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor thirst of water. Although a physical famine of food and water is going to come, okay, to this place of America, okay, where it's going to be a shortage, okay, not having access to it as it is now, okay, because things about to be more scarce, okay, when it comes to marketplaces. Like I say, and the food that's available or resources that are available, hey, the time gonna come. The only way you're gonna have access to those things is taking that MOTB. Okay? Hey, but this going into a spiritual famine, going into the famine of the word. Okay? The Lord removing his prophets off the highways and byways and his word off the internet. Okay? And it says, and I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, when they censor the internet, okay, censorship, okay, and we seeing that now, okay, the talks of, censorship, okay, and the Lord eventually move his prophets off the highways and byways, okay, when all hell break loose, man, okay, and they shall wander from sea to sea, going into our people, okay, then they're going to want to look for the word of the Lord, then they want to seek the prophets on the highways and byways, and his word, okay, on the internet, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east, and they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and shall not find it. Yeah, because the Lord gonna remove his word at that time. Okay, by the way of the prophets. Okay. So this is the time now. Okay. As the Lord have his men out there now. Let's get this. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1. Remember now the Creator in the days of thy youth. Yeah, so this is the time now, in the days of thy youth. Okay, meaning before all hell break loose, man. Okay, and going into this, in this, this lesson, okay. Remember now the Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So this is the time now. Once again, while the Lord have his men out there on the highways and byways, and his word available on the internet. Okay, before the evil days, okay, Jacob's trouble approach, and all hell break loose. Okay, so this is the time now to seek Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, and to repent, acknowledge your heritage, acknowledge your power, and acknowledging the prophecies, and preparing yourself, okay, including ourselves, okay, us that's in the faith, okay, preparing ourselves for the times ahead, okay, and it said verse 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. You're going into the ways of this world, the knowledge of this world, okay, what our people, believe or seeking, okay, the hope of this world, okay, because a lot of our people, they look forward to their careers here in America, their jobs, trusting in this government, okay, thinking this place gonna continue on to prosper, trusting in the material things, the merchandise, okay, looking for a future in this place, okay, and it says, and in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, okay, going to see your marketplaces, okay, in the financial system, okay, the stock market crashing, the Dow constantly going down, okay, like I said, the dollar on the point of crashing, okay, yeah, and the dollar already reaching this limit of, when it comes to this debt, more and more of $200 trillion and counting, which owed to these bankers, okay, because these bankers the one that owe, America owed the debt to these bankers. Okay, and that's why once again these elites want to bring a financial crash. Okay, to bring in a digital system. Okay, here in America. Which is the RESET. Okay, in the digital form, and it says, and in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong man shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease. Hey, that individual in that video, he see how the American grinding is low. Okay, or the grinding is coming to more and more of the halt. Okay, grinding meaning work. Okay, the work, the job forces. Okay, leading to more unemployment. Okay, and it says leading to more of these jobs like shutting down. Okay, manufacturing and all that. Okay, now they want to replace these jobs or people with AI technology, robots, and technology doing all the AI doing all the work. Okay, and it says, and the strong man shall bow themselves, and the grinders shall cease, because they are few, And those that look out of the windows be darkened. Yeah, going into the opportunity. Okay, going to, seeking prosperity in this place, a career in this place. Okay, generation wealth in this place. Okay, like I say, prosperity, but it's being more darkened, man, at this place on the verge of its collapse. Okay, and it says verse 4: the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound on the grinding is low. Yeah, these marketplaces. Okay, these stores. Okay, your restaurants. Okay, your coliseums. Okay, your amusement parks, your movie theaters. Okay, especially when it comes to the time of martial law. Okay, when it comes to the time of curfews, travel bans, checkpoints. Okay, when it comes to certain cities. Okay, and we also coming in a time they want to introduce the more and more smart cities. Within those smart cities, okay, there's gonna be everything gonna be surveillance, biometric, all that's gonna be surrounded at MOTB. Okay, and in those smart cities is gonna be a as they say, safe zone. Okay, but a limit of what you can do and what you can't do. Okay, as these elites ready to bring in that MOTB behind a credit based system, social credit based system. You can look up carbon tax, the carbon footprint. Okay, leading to more surveillance. Okay, and it says, and he shall rise, and he, let me see, and when the sound of the grinding is low, okay, these jobs, okay, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Yeah, okay, going into the workforce. Okay, people knowing to get up and go to work. Okay, it's here in America, it all the whole clock round really, because you got people that work the first shift, second shift, third shift, the graveyard shift. Some of these companies, and when it comes to the workforce, okay, but all that's about to come to a halt and come to a limit. When it comes to the workforce, it says all the daughters of the music shall be brought low. It going to the entertainment, the mirth. Okay. Matter of fact, let's get this. This is Isaiah chapter 24, verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languish, all the merry heart do sigh. Okay, and this is going into this place, America. Okay. These people that known to be over here in America to party, being in the spirit of mirth, living it up, enjoying themselves, traveling. Okay, like I said, going to these coliseums when it comes to these sports events, theaters, okay, concerts, Broadway, traveling to these states to see the how can I say, the history of America. Okay, all that's gonna come to a halt, man. Okay, to the point that these people gonna be sighing. Okay, to the point that these people gonna be in a state of misery, and that's gonna lead to what? Civil unrest. Okay, anarchy, man. Okay, and it says, the mirth of the tabret cease, the noise of them that rejoice in, the joy of the harp cease. They shall not drink wine with a song, and strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. So that's how bad it's going to be in America. Okay, so ain't going to be no more partying, traveling, living it up. Okay, it's going to be more and more on civil unrest. Okay, hell breaking loose, man. Okay, people got trying to defend for themselves and for their family. Okay, so there's gonna be a lot of unalives, I say like that. Okay, the city of confusion is broken down, and that's America. Okay, once again, Babylon the Great. Okay, because the word Babylon in the Hebrew, Baal, okay, meaning confusion. Okay, and that's what you have here in America. Okay, confusion. The city of confusion is broken down, and every house is shut up that no man may come in. Okay, that's how bad it's gonna be. people ain't gonna be willing to leave their home, especially when all hell is breaking loose and anarchy. Okay, that's why now they talking about doing these prepping videos, or take up, get goods and certain, merchandise, to be sustained. Okay, and due to the time of all hell breaking loose, man, it's during the time of martial law. Okay, but that's gonna lead to more civil unrest. Okay, anarchy, more invasions. Okay, it's gonna be the survival of the fetish. Okay, or the fetish. And it says that no man may come in. There is crying for the wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. And it says there is crying for wine in the streets going into. Then starting with our people, going to look for the way of truth. Then they want to seek the God of the Bible or a higher power. Okay, when all hell break loose. Okay, and the only true God is Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, and the Lord only going to deliver the elect. Okay, but these people going to be in a state of miserably. Okay, when they see that the Lord ain't don't have them covered, and they stare in judgment. Okay, staring down judgment, man. Okay, there is crying for wine in the street. Like I say, the Lord gonna remove his prophets at that time and his word off the internet. Okay, and all joy is darkened. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. And the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. Yeah, so this place, is going to be smitten with destruction. Okay, and this whole land of America will be destroyed ultimately. Okay, by the way of thermonuclear fire, man. Once again, and when Yahweh shall return with the chariots, what the world call UFOs, to bring war to this place by the way of fire. Okay, so that's it on that. Let me see. Let's get this. Cause even talking about how the coming of empty shelves, man. Okay, in these stores. Okay, and shortages. Okay, on all the resources that soon to hit this place, America. Okay, and like you say, ever since 2020, it's already been on a free fall. Okay, this place collapsing. And we know what happened in 2020. Okay, Second Esdras chapter 6, verse 23. The trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man hear, they shall be suddenly afraid. Okay, that trumpet going into the alarm. Okay, mainly starting with the truth. Okay, the Lord have his men out there giving that forewarning. Okay, before that physical trumpet. Okay, because this is the spiritual trumpet being blown. But for the physical trumpet being blown, mainly, in this case, when all hell breaks loose, when they give these alerts of martial law. Okay, of lockdowns and shutdowns. Okay, travel bans. Okay, civil unrest, shortages, the economy crash. Okay, and the implementation of the RFID micro, the MOTB. Okay, and the reason why we get that stern warning to you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, okay, when it comes to the men of Great Millstone and the brethren on down, okay, about that MOTB or the mark of the beast, the RFID micro, not to take it, because those of our people that take it, they're gonna be destroyed by the way of the thermonuclear missiles at the peak of the Third World War. Okay, according to Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. Okay, and the people that take it, a lot of them are going to become ill, according to the scriptures. And keep it at that. And it says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man hear, they shall be suddenly afraid. Yeah, so every man here, okay, including men, when it comes to men, women, and children, man. Okay, great judgment is going to come upon 2/3 of our people in these heathen nations, okay, of men, women, and children, okay. And like I say, the Lord only going to deliver the elect amongst the men, women, and children of Israel, okay, the 144,000 and the 1/3, okay, which conclude holily, or hold the elect, okay. And it says, verse 24, and at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. Hey, so people gonna be betraying each other, evading each other, okay, local neighbors, Okay, people that don't know each other for years. Okay, family members. Okay, and it says, "In that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. The earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run." Okay, going to hey, this place crash. Okay, or a limit of resources, man. Okay. Matter of fact, let me get this. I should have started at verse 22. Okay. And it says, verse 22, "And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty." You're going to these grocery stores and marketplaces, man. Okay, or restaurants. Okay, business foreclosing. Okay, or limit of food. Okay, food shortages, man. Okay, because it ain't like it ain't gonna be no food or water or resources at all. It's gonna be limited. Okay, because according to the scriptures, the Lord said His servants, okay, the elect is gonna eat, the elect is gonna drink and rejoice. Okay, through those trials and tribulations. Okay, the Lord gonna make a way. Okay, by the way of spiritual intervention, man. Okay, and that's what our hope is lying, that Yahweh Shemel shall continue to be with us. Okay, to now and into the up and coming times, man. Approaching Jacob's trouble. Okay, even though you're gonna have certain members of the elect that's gonna be martyrs. Okay, but the ones that die in this faith, okay, here and now and or in the past, okay, brothers in the past, okay, doing His work, and die in the faith, and those that in the future, okay, that that have to die in the faith, okay, especially those that's allotted to that don't take that RFID micro, because John saw in Revelation chapter 20 verse 4 those that was beheaded for not taking the MOTB. Okay, because you're gonna have certain members of the elect that's gonna be beheaded. Okay, when it comes to these centers, okay, the centers, detention centers, they're gonna have to face that. Okay, and that's possible for us, man. Okay, hey, but eventually, when it comes to certain of the elect, they're not gonna see death. Okay, the Lord gonna have them endure all the way to the end. Okay, just to be beamed up into the chairs. But the ones that die in the faith first, okay, they're gonna be the ones that die in the faith. They're gonna be the first ones risen up. Okay, to be joined with the rest of the elect at that time. Okay, to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai. Okay, and it says, verse 24, and it says, "And the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remain from all these things that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation in the end of your world." Yeah, the end of Esau Edom world. Okay, because that's what it says up in the later earlier chapter. Okay, Esau Edom is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow. Okay, 2nd Ezra chapter 6. Okay, verses 9. Okay, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow. Yeah, the end of Esau Edom rulership. Okay, this represents Esau Edom age and his world. Okay, and these heathen nations. Okay, because once Yahweh Shai return and take Esau Edom out of power, okay, by the great destruction of this place, America. Okay, that's going to lead to also the salvation of the elect of the nation of Israel, and eventually Yahweh Bashem Yahushua sent the kingdom here on the earth in the land of Israel. Okay, which that land going to be destroyed, the land of Israel, by the way of fire, because the original people are not the inheritance of that land. Okay, they're phonies, they're Edomites, and I'll keep it like that. And that land going to be cleansed just for the rightful owners, the true biblical Hebrew Israelites, to inherit that land, which happen to be so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, and once Yahweh Shai, okay, bring the elect out of the chairs, and Yahweh Shai rule here on the earth in the land of Israel. Okay, the first thing that's going to take place, okay, or one of the first things that's going to take place is these heathens going to be gathered. They're going to be gathered together, or they're going to be gathered for slavery. Okay, starting with the elites of Esau Edom, because they're going to be the first crops of slaves. Okay, because they're going to escape the damnations of the missiles as they're going to be in their retreats, just to be reserved for slavery. And the heathen nations that remain at that time that don't get touched by the missiles or don't be judged, okay, they're going to be reserved for slavery, okay? And throughout the process of time, the 2/3 that perish on this side or in this lifetime, they're going to come back in the kingdom, being the sons and daughters of the elect, okay? And the heathens that perish on this side, okay, or in this lifetime, they're going to come back in the kingdom through their bloodline, being servants unto us, man, okay? Because the kingdom is only for Israel, okay? And at this time, starting with the elect. Okay, let me see. So basically that's it. I don't want to make this video too long. Okay. And so we coming in the time when we approaching the time of Jacob's trouble and the downfall of this place, America. At the time of Esau, Edom, more and more showing his horns. Okay, Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Okay, and part of that is they were trying to introduce the NWO. Okay, which the Lord gonna disappoint them. Okay, but in the process of time, the Lord gonna allow Esau, Edom to come with that sword, man. Okay, and especially when it comes to that implementation of that RFID micro. Okay, so we coming in these times, man. Okay, so I pray that the lesson was edifying, to the next time, Lord willing. Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.